For this demonstration, I have displayed a cone 6 recipe taken from the internet. It uses a feldspar not included in the local materials database. The first check is to look at the temperature setting to make sure it is set for the firing temperature of the recipe. The next thing to check is the firing atmosphere. In this case it should be oxidation. Now we can commence the process of selecting the materials in the recipe. Notice that the default setting is for local materials. Double-click on the first material in the recipe, which is Gerstly borate. The next material is flint, which is the same as silica. For the next material, NCE4 feldspar, we need to look in another database where all the feldspars should be located. Click the Feldspars A to Z item to display a list of all the feldspars we have. Click the local materials again, then select the other materials in the recipe. Close the materials window. Now we have a colorant to add to the recipe, red iron oxide. The colorant icon will open the list of colorants. Notice the colorant material is displayed in the colorants panel. We can now enter the quantities of the recipe. As we enter these, the unity formula for the recipe will be generated in the formula panel. Notice that the values in the original recipe are large and will not total 100. When we have finished entering the recipe and colorant quantities, we'll click the percentage button and the recipe will be converted to total 100. When we click this button, a window opens to ask if we want to include the colorants, to which we'll answer yes. Now the recipe has been entered and we will save the recipe, but first we need to enter a name. Click this icon to save the recipe as an individual file. A window is displayed already opened into the individual recipes folder. The recipe name is already displayed in the file name box. Our new recipe will join this list in the folder. When the Save button is clicked, we should get a small window confirming that the recipe has been saved. That completes the entering and saving of our recipe. If we wanted to save this recipe to a recipe database, we would click this button here. That opens a window which shows us a list of glazes that already have been saved in a recipe database called Otago Polyglazes. We want to open a new or create a new database called Cone 6 Glazes. So we'll start by clicking this button. Window opens to tell us that we're in the recipe databases folder. It lists the databases already in that folder. And in the file name box, the default name is new, which we will change to Cone 6 Glazes. We'll then click Open. Now we're in the Cone 6 Glazes recipe database, which of course has no recipes in it yet. We're going to save our Reader's Digest read to that by clicking the Save button. Confirmation window comes up, and that ends the process of saving our recipe.